What up, guys? What's going on? Welcome to episode number 18 of the Spun Today podcast. This is another bonus episode, the second bonus episode, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm going to try it out one more time. Maybe a couple more. I'm not sure. Let's see how this one goes. For those of you that didn't hear the other one, or maybe this is the first podcast that you listen to at all, so in that case, I'll give you a quick run through as to what the podcast is. It's pretty much a podcast geared towards writing, although different conversations are sprinkled throughout it, but mainly the bulk of it so far is some free writing that I've done, that I read out in free writing episodes, and also some short stories that I've written that I try to produce audiobook versions of. And those are kind of more like, I try to make them like professional and shit, professional sounding, and throw in some sound effects and like stuff like that. And those are always accompanied by like an intro and an outro, like this one. This would be the intro for those of you that are novices. And yeah, it's pretty much it. It's pretty much like my journey, or my what I'm going through now in terms of striving to be a writer, or a credible one. And yeah, it's pretty much it. So enjoy the ride if you're coming along, and if you're not, then nice to know you, I guess. So, like I said, one of the types of podcasts that I do are audiobooks for the short stories that I've written, which you guys can read at spuntoday.com/short stories. I've written 6. And from those, I started this for the previous short story, a bonus episode, which I release in between the regular. Well, let me backtrack a little bit, actually. I release these podcasts every other Thursday. In between, sometimes I will be doing like a bonus episode like this one, which is going to be most likely a much shorter episode. And the first of its kind was actually an idea that I had to do like a bloopers. I'm not sure what you would call it exactly for audiobooks. I'm just calling it bloopers, to give you guys kind of like a behind the scenes view at the process that I go through, at least, of recording the audiobook. Because like I said, the audiobooks are edited, but none of the other podcasts are, and the intros and outros are never edited or anything like that. Partly because I don't like editing at all, and it's tedious as fuck, and mainly though because to me the like essence of like any of the great podcasts that I listen to, the quality that is like a common denominator in all of them is the fact that they're unedited and off the cuff and like raw and real to me. So that's what I'm striving for with the bulk of the podcast. But yeah, the audiobook versions are edited because again, I'm trying to make them sound somewhat professional. And in editing them, there's a lot of shit that I pull out, like fucking yawns and burps and curses and just shit that doesn't go, and I reread lines until it sounds right to me. And I'll read the same sentence like a bunch of times, and fuck it up or read it wrong and stuff like that. And like all that stuff that I pull out, smushing all together, condensing it, because it's like some of it's redundant. Like if I literally say the same line like 10 times or something like that, I'm pretty sure you guys wouldn't want to hear that. I definitely wouldn't. Actually, this whole concept of like the bloopers thing, that's why I said this might be like the second and last time I do it, because I'm not sure if anybody would really want to hear these, but there might be some of you that do. And just for the fact that it kind of gives you like a glimpse as to what you physically actually go through or I went through to record one of these things, if anybody's curious or whatever. Sometimes I do get into like those little nuances of certain things that I get into, and I could find appreciation in something like that. So, whatever, maybe some of you guys can with this in terms of writing and recording an audiobook and shit. So, if you do enjoy it, let me know. Let me know what you think, and I'll continue doing them. And if not, I'll probably phase them out down the line, or maybe I'll just continue doing them. Whatever, time will tell. And what else? So the story, Nostrand Ave, is called. If you guys want to listen to the polished, edited version, listen to episode number 17 of the Spun Today podcast, and which is obviously the episode right before this one. And it's entitled Nostrand Ave. And the story, I in the intro for that one, for that podcast, I go into like where the story came from. So I'll give you guys a quick overview of it. The idea for the short story came from one day when I was coming home from work. I live in New York, by the way. I take the subway to work to the city, and live in Queens. Big up to Queens. I was getting off the train, not at Nostrand Ave. Actually, where was it? It was either on 104, like Rockaway Ave, I think it was. And I saw like the sick fucking like a shitload of cops, like being like called in to like try to restrain this one chick she was like bleeding, and she was like walling out and flipping out, and people were around and saying that she was getting abused, and she was crying and screaming, and she seemed like really upset, like she was done wrong. But then like these cops were like restraining her, and there was a bunch of people around filming it on their cell phones and stuff like that. So it was like a hectic thing to see or whatever on my way home. And I actually recorded some audio from it, because my fucking iPhone, I couldn't record video because it was like the memory was too full or whatever, so I couldn't take any pictures or anything like that. Fucking hate when that happens. So I recorded like a little bit of audio from it, which actually used in some of the background like ambient noise for the short story, episode 17. Like in that, as some of the what's the word I'm looking for? Some of the sound effects, I used that actual recording like from the actual incident. So that would be an interesting way to use it, I guess. And yeah, check that one out. Let me know what you guys think about that story. Also, in the outro of that story, I kind of spoke about what the characters in the story meant to me. Because I was having a conversation with my fiance, and she was telling me how this other story that I wrote, that she like saw it completely differently, and I thought that was interesting. Because I coupled that with an author that I heard on a different podcast, the Brian Callen Show, where he was speaking about how when you create something and put it out there, it's no longer yours, and everybody is completely open to interpreting it a billion different ways, and that often happens. And I saw it, in practice happening that way, so I found it kind of interesting. So let me know when you guys listen to that, if you go back and listen to it, what you guys thought of the characters, what they meant to you, what you think the story is about, and stuff like that. So to me, it's a combination of bad parenting and fucked up circumstances on one side, coupled with on the other side, coupled with like police brutality a little bit, definitely some police violence, which may or may not have been excessive depending on your point of view, but it was definitely an avoidable situation, that an escalating situation that could have been avoided had two individuals in the story reacted differently to each other. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think of it once you listen to it. And again, if you want to hear, if you want to hear the real story, go back and listen to episode number 17. This episode is all the crap and bullshit that I pulled out of it and smashed it together into this quote unquote bloopers episode. And before I play for you guys, just a quick update on the 5-borough bike tour, which I'm going to do in about 2 weeks. Let me see. Yeah, in like 2 weeks. It's the 5 Hour Bike Tour, which for those of you that don't know is like a biking marathon in New York where certain bridges and streets and shit like that are closed down. And you get to like bike throughout the entire 5 boroughs. It's like a 45-mile tour, like the whole thing. I did it last year for the first time. It was dope. I loved it. And doing it again this year with my buddy Pablo. And we've been like training and gearing up for it. I did like 2 weeks ago, I did like 10 miles. The week after that, I did like 16. And last weekend, I did 20. And it was in Central Park. And that shit fucking killed me. For anybody who's biked in Central Park, the entire loop one way around is about 6 miles. So we went around like three times and change. And part of it is literally known as the Great Hill or some shit like that. It's like there's a fucking park sign there and everything. And it's just fucking brutal going up that thing. And it fucking sucks. And it was like windy also, and of course the wind was blowing in the opposite direction that I was trying to go in. So it was like a combination of all that. And it was fucking brutal. But I got through it, so just an update on that. Next week I'm planning on doing at least like 25 miles. This weekend coming up rather. In a couple days. And just gearing up, trying to get close to that closer to the big day and doing the big 45-mile run. I'll most likely take a shitload of pictures and I'll post it up on the website for you guys. If you want to take a look at spuntoday.com/photography. That's again, I'm not a professional or anything like that, but I like taking pictures of shit, and when they come out decently nice to me, I put them up there and share with you guys. And also, like on Instagram or on the Facebook page, go on my website, spuntoday.com, and all the way at the bottom, you have links to Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Tumblr now also, the YouTube page where you can find and listen to all of these podcast episodes. And, of course, you can listen on iTunes, which most of you probably are, or if not, if you're one of those Droid people or whatever, or don't have an iPhone, so everybody else, I guess, it's download Stitcher. You can listen to all these podcasts for free and enjoy them. And when you're there on Stitcher or on iTunes, please rate and review the podcast. That helps give it some more exposure and gets other people into it also. And that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know what you think. Here's the bloopers version of Nostrand Ave, the short story, the making of short story, the making of Nostrand Ave, if you will. Nostrand Ave. Henry woke up and went through his morning routines as quietly as possible so that he wouldn't wake Dolores. As usual, she barely got any sleep the night before. Too busy worrying. Sounds so fucking nasally. Too busy. He graduated the academy barely 6 months ago. And has a late night to early morning shift during his patrol. He graduated the academy barely 6 months ago and has a late night to early morning shift. You know I can't stop worrying after you're home. Come here, babe. He told her as he sat down at the side of the bed. Come here, babe. He told her as he sat. Once I hit the 1 year mark, I'll be able to put in for a transfer. Out he went to his post where he met up with his partner. Not much, Henry said. The lieutenant wants us covering the A line and walking the perimeter of some of the red zone stations. On the other side of town, Tracy's father was an abusive alcoholic who left 3 days shy of her second birthday. Excuse me. Footnote number 1. As she was leaving the house, as she was leaving the house for her hour-and-a-half commute, and what you need to stop, figure it out. Tracy walked over to the Nostrand Avenue A line. She went downstairs and pretended to buy a MetroCard at the machine, waiting for both the attendant to become distracted and for her train to approach the platform so she could try and hop the turnstiles. And I sounded like a robot. Tracy walked over to the Nostrand Avenue A line, and for her, Henry was there, but she didn't notice him because he was a bit off. Henry was there, but she didn't notice him because he was a bit off to the side and on his phone texting his wife. Everything has gone smooth today. There will be
a downtown-bound A train approaching the station in approximately 2 minutes.
Fuck. Let's see how that one translates. Tracy looks around to assess the situation, while more passengers swipe through the turnstiles. The rumblings of the approaching train begin to crescendo as her heart rate elevates in unison. The rumblings of the approaching train begin to crescendo as her heart rate. The rumblings of the approaching train begin to crescendo as her heart rate elevates in unison. One more time. The rumblings of the approaching train begin to crescendo as her heart rate elevates blah 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 as her heart rate elevates in unison. Telegraphed her intent to the attendant. Henry quickly ran over to meet her on the other side. Henry, the attendant yells. Officer! The attendant yells as he stops. The attendant yells as he steps out of the booth to point Tracy out. The attendant yells as he... I'm going to have to ask you to come with me and sit. I'm going to have to ask you to come with me and sit over here. Tracy, sizing up the officer, who was a... Tracy, at this point, the train had come and gone, and there were less people around. At this point, the train had come and gone. At this point, the train had come and gone. You mother bitch! Henry is calling this escalating situation. Henry is calling in this escalating situation on his radio to alert his partner. His partner's taking a shit. The attendant visibly... You gonna make me miss my next train too? You will receive a court date in the mail to which a parent or legal guardian will have to accompany you. You will receive a court date in the mail to which a parent or legal guardian will have to accompany you and pay a fine, responded Henry.
There will be a downtown-bound express A train approaching the station in approximately 4 minutes.
You hear that? Do you hear that? Do you want to make that train, or do you want to miss it? And have your mom upset about that? You hear that? Do you want to make that train? 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 Or do you want to miss your quiz and have your mom upset about that? Asks Henry. Asks Henry. Asks Henry. Asks Henry. Ma'am, you're not free to go, says Henry as he reaches for her wrist. Ma'am, you're not free to go, says Henry as he reaches for the wrist on her right hand. Sit your ass down, bitch. No. Get off me. Get your hands off me. She yells. Henry gets in front of her and she slaps the summons booklet from his left hand. And she tries to run for the emergency exit door. Henry gets in front of her and she slaps the summons booklet from his left hand and she tries to run for the emergency exit door next to the turnstiles. Henry gets in front of her and she slaps the summons booklet Henry gets in front of her and she slaps the summons booklet. Henry gets in front of her and she slaps the summons booklet from and she tries to run for the emergency exit door. And she tries to run. Here's the sound of just the booklet. And she tries to run for the emergency exit, screaming and crying, pulling her hands away as Henry's protocol now allows him. She accidentally hits his firearm and removes the safety clip on his holster. She accidentally hits his firearm. Henry hits her on the leg. The fuck was that? Why you vibrate? This will take you back. Who was I? Let me go back to the beginning of that paragraph. She knocks his handcuffs down. Henry's protocol now allows him to enact force. He reaches for his club, and she begins flailing her arms frantically. She accidentally hits his firearm and removes the safety clip on his holster. Henry hits her on the leg with his club. Henry hits her on the leg with his club to try to get her to the ground. Henry hits her on the leg with his club to try to get her to the ground. Fuck. Henry hits her on the leg. You can't hit her. Get her his badge number. This is brutality. He hits her with the club again, and she drops to the ground. The attendant is on the phone with 911, reporting the incident, and more units are on the way. Tracy continues to kick and scream wildly. Martinez makes his way downstairs and is running over. He instinctually draws his weapon. It slips. Tracy and him both go for it. He sees his partner clinching his waist. Maybe I should put some like dramatic music in the background there. Mental note. Actually, let me jot this shit down before I forget. Like before the gun goes off. Let's see. This is part of the process, folks. You will be listening this to the second and maybe the last bloopers version of this audiobook. I'm going to cut all of this out during editing. And let's see, where am I? Got gunshot, and jot this down. Dramatic music. We'll see how that sounds later. Maybe you guys heard it in the audiobook. And if you didn't, and you're listening to this bloopers thing, I guess I tried it and it didn't sound right. Alright. Back to recording. Where was I? Let me just go back to Martinez makes his way downstairs. Without hesitation, Martinez unloads 5 shots at her torso. Within 24 hours, Dolores is weeping bedside in the post-op hospital room. Within 24 hours, Dolores is weeping beside Miss Walker, all but attacked the officers. Here's the address to the hospital. Here's the address to the hospital where you need to go and claim your daughter. Here's the address to the hospital. Fuck you. I ain't drunk. Get out of my home. Get out. Miss Walker responded. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I ain't drunk. Several months later, a woman walks into her neighborhood police precinct. In her Sunday, Officer Henry Kurth asks, "Here you go," he said as he handed. He looks at his nameplate on. He makes the connection. Remembering her name, we do our best to serve the productive members of our community, such as yourself, Miss Walker. Henry responded, I reckon you'll be needing this more than I ever did. I reckon you'll be needing this more than I ever did. I reckon you'll be needing this more than I ever did. She pulled out a stainless steel liquor flask and places it right in front of him on his desk. And that was it. That was the bloopers for the making of the short story audiobook version of Nostrand. Hope you guys liked it. If you did or if you didn't, please let me know. You can reach me at spuntoday@gmail.com if you want to email me directly, or go to my website, spuntoday.com/contact, and let me know what you think. Fill out the little contact page there. And email me, tell me you think it sucked. Please don't add these anymore, or tell me you liked it and you got something from it. Maybe you got an idea for it for your own fucking audiobook, or something that you're working on. And that would be cool. Ideas spawn ideas and spawn other ideas, spawn bad ideas, spawn good ideas, and we build upon each other. And it's a give and take. Just like shit that I get from other podcasts that I listen to, a bunch of inspiration and motivation and stuff like that. Hopefully some of you can get something like that from this one. And if not, you can visit spuntoday.com/ode to podcasts. It's a section of the website where I actually transcribe certain things that I find motivational or inspirational in conversations that I've listened to on podcasts. Several different ones that I listen to are on there, like the Joe Rogan Experience, the Duncan Trussell Family Hour, the Church of What's Happening Now with Joey Diaz, Good Times with Steve Simone, and a few others. You guys can check those out. Again, I transcribe some of the conversations on there. The Drunken Taoist is another one. And if you like them, like what you read there, and want to hear more of that particular episode that I transcribed the information from, or just want to check out the podcast in general, you can click on the red link. I believe it's red or blue. It's like a timestamp underneath whatever I transcribed, and it literally links you directly to that person's podcast, and you can listen to it in full context in its entirety, and and get some shit from it. See if you guys like those. And what else? While you're also on the website, you can use the Amazon banner on the top center of the contact page and click on it. It's a portal that takes you directly to Amazon. I know you fucks shop on Amazon. I know I do all the time. And you guys can go through that portal, shop on Amazon like you normally do, and it won't cost you anything extra, but Amazon will kick me back a few pennies on the dollar just for driving traffic towards their website for any of the purchases that you make. Also, there's a PayPal donation button. If you guys use PayPal and want to donate to the podcast, feel free to use that. Would be very grateful. Also, you can... what else can you guys do to support? Mainly, the best thing that you guys can do is rate and review on iTunes and or Stitcher. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Rate it fucking 1 star, 5 stars, whatever you guys want. And write a few comments there. Again, you can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Spun Today. You can like the Facebook fan page, facebook.com/Spun Today. You can subscribe to the YouTube page and listen to all of these podcasts, past and present and future ones. Well, you can't listen to the future ones yet until they're up, right? But if you can listen to them on YouTube by subscribing to the YouTube page and checking those out. And also subscribe to the newsletter, actually, which is on the website, also on the contact page, all the way at the bottom. The contact page on my website is the place to go to keep in touch. Go all the way to the bottom, fill out the newsletter subscription form, which is literally just your name and email address, and I'll email you guys whenever, like, there's a new podcast episode or a new short story and, like, shit like that. I definitely won't bombard you with fucking spam mail or anything, so you guys don't have to worry about that. And there is a Tumblr page, which I set up for this thing. I've never used Tumblr before. So if you guys want to put me onto anything that I don't know about Tumblr, let me know. But in the meantime, you can catch this episode and others on spuntodaypodcast.tumblr.com. That's spuntodaypodcast.tumblr.com. And that's pretty much it, guys. As always, substitute the mysticism with hard work and start taking steps in the general direction of your dreams. Thanks for listening.